champions of the present. Marissa Shields in the building.
Jake Paul got ambushed by Andrew Tate on the streets, and honestly, no one's surprised. New York City turned into a war zone on December 14th as long-brewing tension between the two finally reached its boiling point. Their encounter wasn't planned, it was pure coincidence. But when Jake saw Andrew, he couldn't hold back, hurling some wild insults that lit the fuse. What happened next? Total chaos, exactly the kind of fallout Andrew had been warning about.
Clear to me, you are desperate for a reality check. This is the hardest sport in the world, and people dedicate their lives to this, and most of them never get a payday. It never pays off for the majority of fighters who would
Jake Paul has made a name for himself by staying in the spotlight, whether it's calling out legends like Mike Tyson or hand-picking his opponents to protect that undefeated record. But what went down on December 14th wasn't just another headline stunt. This time, it was personal. Andrew Tate, a man worth $710 million and a four-time kickboxing world champion, stepped to Jake Paul in the middle of a crowded street, ready to make a statement. And make it, he did.
But any tip?
You want to fight, you want to send a contract, send one to me. I will take a few weeks break from living my retired life to kick the living out of a fucking goofy, fucking entitled dickhead like you. You know my name, Andrew Tate. Fucking Google it if you want to know more. Any day, anytime.
For anyone who doesn't know, Andrew Tate doesn't do half measures. This wasn't some random run-in or a petty online exchange. Tate faced off with Jake Paul right there in the middle of a packed street, fans all around, phones out, recording every second. It was a full-on public reality check. And Jake? That usual cocky swagger? Gone. If confidence had a volume knob, Tate turned Jake's all the way down.
Work. Go. Work. Come on, keep going. Work.
Come on, fight.
Make it. Hey. 20 seconds. Come on, 20 seconds to walk, Steve. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Come on, work. 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 Good. Work. 10 seconds. Work.
Confidence is Jake Paul's currency. It fuels his trash talk, drives his image, and keeps his 20 million followers locked in. It's the engine behind every viral moment and pay-per-view fight. But in that face-off, that confidence evaporated. Because this wasn't some YouTuber beef or hand-picked opponent. This was Andrew Tate, an entirely different league. And Jake knew it.
Yeah, he'll never do that though. He knows. He knows way.
One, he's under contract. And two,
he's not his own boss.
And two, he won't do it. He knows better. He might.
And it's funny to say like, yo, Conor McGregor is scared of Jake Paul and will never.
Jake's body language told the whole story. Andrew Tate didn't have to raise his voice or throw a single punch, his sheer presence and calm dominance spoke volumes. The same Jake Paul who usually feeds off confrontation suddenly looked lost. And when the king of comebacks goes quiet, that's when you know it's real.
The lucky ones. I made a little bit of money. I don't have 50 million to bet with you, but I do have 3 million to bet with you. So this is your offer. $3 million. You put 3, I put 3. Winner takes all. I'm 5 years out the ring. I'm a kick.
This clash wasn't random, it had been brewing for months. Andrew Tate's confrontation with Jake Paul was no impulsive move. Jake built his brand by calling out faded legends and dodging real threats, and Tate wasn't buying it. For a man who spent his life in the trenches of combat sports, watching Jake carefully curate his opponents was infuriating. But when Jake went as far as to call Tate a washed-up fighter, that was the last straw.
See some of these crossover fights. Obviously, I know that you and Jake Paul have had your disagreements. Do you think that Jake's gotten better as a boxer?
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. And listen, what Jake Paul has accomplished is he's fighting old guys.
Yes.
He's fighting, all he fights are old guys and whatever. But listen, say what you want, he wins. And he makes money. So he's doing his thing, you know.
Let's be clear, Andrew Tate didn't confront Jake Paul for clout. He doesn't need the spotlight, and he definitely doesn't need the money. This was about sending a message. In the world of combat sports, respect isn't earned through flashy follower counts or viral trash talk, it's earned by facing real opponents, something Jake has repeatedly avoided. Tate wasn't there for drama. He was there to give Jake a lesson in what real respect looks like. December 14th began like any ordinary day until everything flipped. In the middle of a crowded street, surrounded by fans forming a tight human circle, Andrew Tate made his move. Cameras were rolling, phones were up, and in minutes, the internet exploded. Clips of the face-off flooded every platform, and hashtags like hashtag Tate vs. Paul, hashtag Jake Paul exposed, and hashtag respect the game shot to the top of the trends. What started as a chance encounter instantly became a viral moment the whole world was watching.
Two brothers, one cage. Jake Logan, you Tristan. Who comes out alive?
You know what? I'm trying so hard to not start internet beefs. I'm really trying not to.
You could say Jake and Logan, man.
Bro,
Don't worry about it.
No, I can't lie. Bro, I'm going through life. I'm trying to live peaceful now. I've got Fed agents in my house. Matrix is after me. I'm just trying to live peaceful. But of course, I have absolute faith in myself and my brother, and I know what we've been through, and I know the kind of men we are.
Jake Paul's entire image is built on being untouchable, the underdog who flips the script, silences the haters, and keeps proving the world wrong. He's made a career out of storming into combat sports as the outsider, challenging seasoned fighters, thriving under pressure, and turning skepticism into fuel. That swagger, sometimes confidence, sometimes full-on arrogance, has become his signature. It powers his trash talk, his bold predictions, and the unapologetic self-promotion that's made him both magnetic and controversial. Love him or hate him, Jake knows how to own the spotlight. But when Andrew Tate stood face-to-face with him, all that bravado vanished. This wasn't just a clash, it was a moment that stripped away the invincible persona Jake had spent years crafting. The trademark smirk, the cocky one-liners, the air of untouchability? Gone. Replaced by something rare from Jake Paul: silence, tension, and uncertainty. Because Tate wasn't just another internet personality chasing clout or a paycheck. He wasn't a character. He was the real thing. A four-time kickboxing world champion with a calm, lethal confidence that doesn't need theatrics to be intimidating. His presence alone said more than any trash talk ever could. In that moment, Jake wasn't facing a celebrity opponent or a carefully selected fighter, he was standing across from someone who was the fight game. Someone who doesn't just play tough for the cameras, but lives and breathes combat. And for maybe the first time, Jake looked like he felt it. It was a rare crack in the armor. A reality check. Proof that behind the showmanship and social media power moves, even Jake Paul can be rattled. And on that day, Andrew Tate was the one who did it.
Look, Andrew, fighter, legitimate, badass motherfucker, strong mentality. Sorry, Tristan Tate is a weak link.
I say let's run
He got a bad shoulder. He's shaped like a gingerbread man. I don't want no beef, but that's delusion.
PFO will set this up.
A MMA double tag team match.
10 million for everybody.
You might have a fight on your hands.
That would go crazy.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. No, seriously.
I'm
let's
about
do
the
it.
action. Like I'm less talk now. Let's just fucking go.
Yo, but you know for a fact, me and Jake will travel to Romania. We will make this happen. We'll do it wherever you want, whatever conditions you want.
The debate exploded. Was Andrew Tate justified in publicly calling out Jake Paul, or was this just another clash of egos feeding the spectacle that combat sports has become? Fans, fighters, and analysts were split down the middle. To some, Tate's move was necessary, a long overdue reality check. They saw it as a stand for the soul of combat sports, exposing the growing superficiality of influencer boxing. To these supporters, Tate wasn't just defending his pride, he was defending the honor of a sport built on grit, sacrifice, and earned respect. Jake, in their eyes, had bypassed the grind, gaining fame without facing true tests in the ring. But others saw a different game being played. Critics argued this was all just strategy, another calculated moment meant to spark headlines, drive clicks, and keep both names buzzing online. In their view, it wasn't about integrity, it was about marketing. About two savvy showmen leveraging controversy in the age of viral fame. And in that arena, both Jake and Tate are masters. Whichever side you're on, one thing's undeniable, this moment struck a nerve. It lit up not just the boxing world, but the entire landscape of modern sports. This wasn't just about two men, it was about what the fight game is becoming. A collision between tradition and entertainment, legacy and virality. And as the buzz refuses to die down, one thing feels certain: this rivalry is just getting started. The stage is set for a showdown that could define everything both men stand for.
To an old man who's retired. I live in the real fucking world, Jake. There's a whole bunch of fighters out here who live in the real fucking world. Men who are dangerous and dedicated their lives to this sport and don't have a fucking fraction of the money you have because you've managed to become a...
This wasn't just a face-off between two men, it was a collision of ideologies. A symbolic battle between two worlds that are pulling combat sports in opposite directions. On one side, you have Jake Paul, the face of the new era. In this world, clout often outweighs skill, and the biggest spotlight goes to those who generate buzz, not those who put in years of grind. Jake didn't rise through amateur circuits or earn his stripes fighting seasoned opponents. His boxing career has been powered by viral moments, calculated callouts, and an empire built on clicks. For Jake, boxing is a business, a platform to grow his brand, dominate social media, and stay culturally relevant. It's less about legacy, and more about leverage. On the other side stands Andrew Tate, the embodiment of the old-school fighter. A man shaped by hard training, tough opponents, and a deep respect for the sport. His world is built on grit, honor, and earning respect through action, not algorithms. For Tate, the fight game isn't about followers or flashy promos, it's about discipline, authenticity, and the warrior's code. Fame isn't the goal, it's a byproduct of legacy, forged in the fire of real competition. Their confrontation wasn't just personal, it was a flashpoint in the cultural evolution of combat sports. A moment that exposed the growing divide between two visions, one that sees fighting as an art, steeped in tradition, and another that treats it as spectacle, driven by entertainment and monetization. In many ways, this wasn't just past versus present. It was a question mark hanging over the future of the sport itself.
She's gone. Come on, work. Go. Work. Come on, Marshall. Keep going. Work! Come on, fight. Make it. Hey. 20 seconds. Come on, 20 seconds to walk, Steve. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
For Andrew Tate, this wasn't just about Jake Paul, it was about everything Jake represents. A turning tide in combat sports where spectacle is replacing substance, where hype overshadows hard-earned skill, and where viral fame carries more weight than true fighting spirit. In Tate's eyes, Jake isn't just a provocateur, he's the face of a growing trend, influencers bypassing the blood, sweat, and years of sacrifice through clout and careful matchmaking. While that formula may entertain millions, Tate sees it as a threat to the integrity of the sport. A threat to every fighter who's spent years grinding in silence, taking hits, mastering technique, and earning respect the long, hard way. To him, Jake's rise isn't just unconventional, it's disrespectful to the warriors who came up the right way. So when Tate stepped up, it wasn't just personal, it was principled. He wasn't just defending himself, he was speaking for an entire generation of fighters who live and breathe the sport. Fighters who've paid their dues in gyms, not on YouTube. For Tate, this confrontation was a stand against the commercialization of combat sports, a bold statement that respect can't be bought with followers or engineered through algorithms. It was more than a viral moment. It was a line in the sand. A battle for the very soul of the sport.
I made my money impressing 4-year-olds on YouTube and managed to somehow become a multimillionaire from it. I'd probably live in a dream world too. But let me explain something to you about combat sports. There are a whole bunch of men out here who will never be as famous as you, will never make the money you've made, who would kick the living fuck out.
In the days following the confrontation, the internet went into overdrive. Social media was flooded with debates, memes, and non-stop reaction videos. Fans on both sides clashed in comment sections, passionately speculating on what would come next. Would Jake finally face Andrew Tate in the ring? Or would he continue dodging real competition, just as his critics claimed? Every post, every tweet, every viral clip poured fuel on the fire, turning a heated moment into a full-blown phenomenon. The media jumped in, plastering headlines like "Andrew Tate humiliates Jake Paul," "Jake Paul's legacy on the line," and "the showdown that could change combat sports forever." Sports analysts broke down every second of the standoff, while podcasts and talk shows kept the buzz alive. What started as a street encounter had grown into something bigger, a cultural moment that reached far beyond the world of boxing. The anticipation was electric. And all eyes were now on Jake Paul, waiting to see what he would do next.
Best boxer on the planet is?
Jake Paul.
Why?
I mean, who's doing it?
I mean, if Mike Tyson says, let's do this, are you down?
100%.
I'm gonna make Mike my girlfriend.
Would you fight Mike Tyson? Again, no, because he's now old, and I would be an absolutely tragic shame to knock out an old version of his prime self. That doesn't feel fair. Prime Tyson would have ripped me apart in a boxing match, so to beat him when he's past his prime just feels dishonorable, and I feel dirty for doing that. So there's no amount of money on the planet that could convince me.
For Jake Paul, the fallout was harsh. His carefully crafted persona built on confidence, swagger, and defiance took a serious hit. The backlash was swift and relentless. Critics, louder than ever, questioned not just his skills but his legitimacy in the world of combat sports. Every past victory was suddenly under scrutiny, reframed as part of a narrative built more on strategy and spectacle than substance. Meanwhile, for Andrew Tate, it was a clear win. He didn't just confront Jake, he delivered on everything he's preached about: respect, authenticity, and what it truly means to be a fighter. His words were backed by presence, his values echoed in his actions. This wasn't just a moment of personal triumph, it was a statement. A stand for the principles many feel have been lost in today's hype-driven fight scene. Tate didn't just win the exchange, he won the message. And in doing so, he left a mark not only on Jake Paul's career but on the entire landscape of modern combat sports.
As a fighter in a way that he never will be. I'm known as a fighter in the way that if you throw me in a cell with a murderer, a rapist, and 2 drug dealers, people look at me and go, okay, respect. He would have left with a higher male body count than his fiancée. That's how.
The big question now is, what's next for Jake Paul and Andrew Tate? Their rivalry has taken the world by storm, and fans everywhere are demanding one thing: a sanctioned fight to settle it once and for all. The internet is ablaze with debates, predictions, and endless speculation about how such a clash would unfold. Many believe Jake doesn't stand a chance. They argue that Tate's years of kickboxing experience, technical precision, and mental grit give him a clear edge. To them, this wouldn't even be close, it would be a master outclassing a pretender. But Jake still has his believers. Supporters point to his youth, relentless drive, and rapid evolution as a boxer. They highlight his discipline, work ethic, and ability to rise under pressure, qualities that have kept him winning when many expected him to fail. One thing's for sure, if this fight ever becomes reality, it won't just be about who gets their hand raised. It'll be about legacy. About proving who truly belongs in the fight game and who is just passing through. This wouldn't just be a fight. It would be a defining moment for both men and for the future of combat sports itself.
Fight. It's not like Jake Paul can't fight.
Yeah.
Jake Paul just won't fight it.
One thing's certain, this rivalry is far from over. It's no longer just a clash of personalities, it's a battle driven by pride, ego, and the burning need to prove who truly belongs at the top of the fight game. Whether it all builds to a massive showdown in the ring or continues to unfold through high-stakes drama online, one thing's clear: the world is watching. Fans, fighters, and critics alike are holding their breath, waiting for the next move in this escalating feud. For now, all eyes are on Jake Paul. Will he rise to the occasion, showing growth, grit, and the heart of a real fighter? Or will he stay in the comfort zone, leaning on spectacle and showmanship to preserve an image that's starting to crack? Only time will tell. But whatever happens next, it's going to be big.
He'd mentioned me before, and there'll be people out there saying, oh, Carl Froch's talking about himself, he's after a payday. Listen, I'm not after a payday. I'm doing all right. There's no problems with my...
This confrontation wasn't just a one-off moment, it was a wake-up call for Jake Paul. A harsh reminder that in the fight game, respect isn't earned through trash talk or trending clips. It was a turning point, one that laid bare the divide between hype and true skill, between building a brand and building a legacy. Andrew Tate made his message loud and clear: clout means nothing without respect. And that kind of respect isn't handed out, it's earned. Through discipline, through sacrifice, and by stepping into the ring against real competition. This moment echoed far beyond the street, it struck at the heart of what combat sports is all about. For Jake, it might just be the beginning of a deeper realization that if he wants lasting respect, not just attention, he'll have to prove it the hard way.
There's one cage. Jake Logan, you Tristan. Who comes out alive?
You know what? I'm trying so hard to not start internet beef.
For fans, this was more than just a viral moment, it was a window into the growing divide between traditional combat sports and the rising wave of internet-fueled spectacle. It revealed how blurred the lines have become between true athletic competition and influencer-driven entertainment, sparking a wider debate about the authenticity and direction of the sport. Some viewers embraced the drama, drawn in by the excitement, unpredictability, and star power. But others saw it as a step backward, something that cheapens the discipline, grit, and respect that combat sports were built on. As for Jake Paul, this might have been the reality check he didn't see coming. A moment that could force him to rethink his path, sharpen his skills, and realize that lasting success in the ring takes more than hype and bravado. It demands growth, humility, and the willingness to truly earn your place among real fighters.
Year-olds on YouTube and managed to somehow become a multi-millionaire from it, I'd probably live in a dream world too. But let me explain something to you about combat sports. There are a whole bunch of men out here who will never be as famous as you, will never make the money you've made, who would kick the living
And that's it for today's video.